Forests are critical to human life on Earth. We depend on forests for oxygen, water, food, medicines, heating, lodging, carbon, and many other services that we have no substitutes for. Yet, the equivalent of a football field of forest vanishes every 7 seconds. It is now time to redefine forest preservation as a human development issue, going far beyond environmental conservation, because forests and life go together.
Hi everybody, it's getting late, so let's be practical and think for a second. Let's move from Eastern Island to here in Miami, and imagine for a minute if we shut the light off in this room and removed everything, every product and service that is given to us by forests and trees, what would happen? Well, first of all, I would fall off on my bottom because this stage is made of wood. But the bad news is all of us would start to choke for lack of air. Those of you sipping tea or coffee or juice would have an empty cup. No writing paper, and so on and so forth. Well, Kinomé's job is to turn the light on again, and that on a global scale. And the way we do that is simply by having a completely different look at forests and trees. Instead of looking at the disaster, looking at the problem, let's look at trees and forests as a gigantic opportunity to improve our daily lives, starting from local communities and improving our economy and the climate as a result. The way we do that is by doing research, understanding how forests can help us, project management, and also by selling consulting services to be financially sustainable. We've been doing that since 2005 when I founded Kinomé, and so far we've planted a little bit over 4 million trees, saved twice as many, and more importantly, directly impacted the lives of 350,000 people on the 5 continents, mostly in Africa and South America. And in 2010, I created a global movement called Forest&Life, which federates all our projects, but many others that are here to help people live a better life. So let's take an example. In Togo, a tiny country in Africa, with lots of poverty, deforestation, and malnutrition. Well, in Togo, like anywhere else, there are miracle trees, great trees. This one, the Moringa oleifera, which actually also grows in South America, here in America, provides with its leaves proteins, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that are absolutely essential to the growth of our children and to our bodies as adults as well. It's fast growing, it's drought resistant. So what we decided was to tie up forces with women. Why women? Simply because my experience is that everywhere I've been to, they're more efficient. Sorry, chaps. They're more efficient because they see their behaviors changing more quickly, and that in turn because they are more tightly connected with life. So we're working with them on the total value chain, starting with harvesting, processing, distributing, and educating their families about the virtues of Moringa. The way we get buy-in is quite simple. Instead of coming with preconceived answers to preconceived questions, as most development programs do, we come, sit down with them and ask them simple questions. What would it take for your children to stay in the village if they wish so? And that starts the conversation. What comes up is actually the fundamental needs of theirs that are not being satisfied. And the good news is these fundamental needs are the same whether you live in Togo, in France, where I come from, here in the US, or in Colombia. And that's the basis for all of our work. So if you come back to this example, the fresh leaves that they self-consume, that helps their health and that of their children. Combining Moringa with their usual crops reduces their risk and improves their financial and food security. We work very hard on the drying process so that they can sell it in a dry form on top of the fresh form. And that actually increases, because we're reducing bacteria invasion, that increases the yield by a factor of 3 per hectare per annum. We're working with the Red Cross in partnership with their mothers' clubs, uniting women to generate activities that in turn generate revenue. That increases their security, including their revenues, respect, self-respect, inclusion in society, and self-realization. And last but not least, we have this program in partnership with the World Food Program, which is distributing moringa in school canteens, which helps the health, but also the ability to learn. You know, you learn much better with a full stomach, don't you? So Kinomé is about people living a better life thanks to trees. But it's about doing this together, breaking down silos, federating. That's another problem of development. Everybody works on their part. We bring everybody together. NGOs, local NGOs, for the most part. The bigger ones also, institutions, scientific institutes, foundations which fund us, small businesses, large multinationals, everybody together. We do that in a measurable way. We've put a lot of time, effort, and money in the last 3 years in putting together a database linked with a geographic information system that enables us to follow in real time the impact of this project and others. Last but not least, Kinomé it's not about planting trees, it's about shifting paradigm, it's about changing the game rules. And the way we do that is, first of all, picking up the right trees. We picked up moringa because the moringa map matches exactly the world hunger map. So we started in Togo, but I was in Madagascar 3 days ago now, and we're starting the same thing. Now, not only that, but if you work in the south, in developing countries, instead of importing food, we produce it locally and fortify it naturally instead of chemically. But we also work in countries like the US, where we provide vegetal proteins in substitutions for animal proteins, which we eat too much of and have a bigger footprint. So if we are benefiting from this help from the ABC Foundation, not only will we roll out in Colombia and Peru, where we're ready to go, but tie up forces with existing winners, like the Fair Trade guys and DRI, probably double or triple the grant as we do in every project that we have, and plant another 500,000 trees for probably the benefit of over 70,000 people. Entonces, muchas gracias a todos. Juntos plantamos soluciones para una vida mejor. Gracias.